Welcome to Conversations with Body and Mind with myself, Antoinette Nirvana. Body and Mind is your health and wellness online directory. And coming up in today's conversation, we'll be chatting about raising consciousness with Shannan Knox. Good morning, Shannan. How are you doing?
Morning, Antoinette. I'm good, thanks, and you?
Good. I can't complain as well. Thank you. We're going to chat today about all the different modalities and being a coach. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, journey that you took, the different stepping stones that brought you into doing what you're doing today and offering this amazing work?
For sure, Antoinette, I'd love to share. So for me, really, it took form a couple of years ago. I lost loved ones. Firstly, I lost my mum. I also experienced loss of my dad, lost a child. So it was a lot of loss for me. And growing up in a very Christian home, I always had the gift of seeing and hearing spirit, but never shared it with anybody. Initially, I thought everybody had the same thing and it wasn't anything to talk about, but then soon realized that I was the only one that was seeing and hearing. So I kind of blocked it. And then many years later, after my numerous losses to loved ones in spirit, I decided that I actually wanted this back. And that's when I reopened everything and fully embraced my ability to connect to the universe, spirit, and everything that is. So that's really where my journey started. That led me to various teachers, modalities, and naturally being a medium. The next natural step the universe decided for me was the shamanic path. And as you know, a shaman is really just a medicine man or woman. If we look at the many cultures years and years and years ago, they would always have in their little villages a medicine man or woman who they would go to for healing, be it mind, body, or otherwise, spiritual, who would assist them. And so I started my shamanic path, and I've been studying that and practically doing that for a couple of years as well. And then it also led me to the Heal Your Life modality of life coaching, which once I'd done the weekend course for myself as part of my healing, I decided that this is phenomenal and needs to be shared as well. So I've incorporated both the shamanic aspect as well as the Louise Hay modalities in my practice.
I mean, and there's so much more that you have to offer, and we're going to get into that. And also, when you go into each modality, you also got the cacao plant ceremonies, which I personally have experienced as well. Give us a little bit of what somebody can come to you for each of those modalities. For example, what is the benefits from your space when people come and see you?
So, as a practicing life coach and shaman, I've really managed to incorporate both of them quite nicely. If they were to come to me, as you know, I do host plant ceremonies as well as a shaman. I do psilocybin, which is also known as mushroom, and these are really hosted in a very sacred space where the shaman would hold space both physically and astrally for the participants to go on a journey really within themselves and to find their truth, whatever that is to them. That brings a lot of healing about. Same goes with the cacao. Cacao is really just the chocolate bean in its purest form, and it's been known as the fruits of the god by the Mayans and the Incas for thousands of years. Cacao was highly regarded and now still is in shamanic ceremonial practices. It really just goes to your heart center and it expands the heart center, which then raises our frequencies, and we're able to access higher frequencies that potentially we don't normally go about accessing in our day-to-day life. So it's a really beautiful heart-centered ceremony. I also do soul retrievals as a shaman. You know, when we go through life, we encounter many traumas, and through these traumas, our soul goes into different fragmentations. And these fragmented parts of our soul doesn't mean that we're not whole. It just means that due to trauma, a piece of our soul has potentially fragmented and gone to a safe space. And the shaman is able to use various tracking techniques to track the fragmented soul aspects of ourselves and reincorporate them for the individual. Energetic healings, house clearings, person clearings People don't realize how easy it is to pick up foreign energies or spirit attachments for that matter. And as a shaman, I'm able to assist the client in getting these energies to move back to a safer space, which is not necessarily sharing energy with anybody unwillingly.
Yeah, I just got reminded early last week I was at my mum's place and she had, she watches CakeNet, DSTV, and there was this thing on just in the background, this Afrikaans guy talking about how people who believe in this stuff and the way that he was quite cross about it, entities and healing and all of that. And I just remembered sitting there and thinking, Guy, you have no idea what is out there, absolutely no idea. And that's quite scary that people are still so head in the sand about, how powerful this stuff is.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if we're living in dualism, and if consciousness as it is in itself is whole and complete and is both the duality, the light and the dark within itself, then naturally there would be that here. We hold that even within ourselves. But yes, as far as entities and stuff go, people are quite, I think it's more a matter of being like an ostrich and burying your head in the sand. What you don't know can't bother you. However, that's not necessarily the case, because what we resist will persist. And if we're pretending that it doesn't exist, it really gives it more headway and leeway to control large aspects of ourselves and our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit more about your Louise Hay side and then also the Kai rites.
Okay, Doug, sure. So the Louise Hay aspect, as a life coach, what we really try and do is incorporate healing for the person as a whole, but more on a practical level. So instead of like the shaman would work energetically, with Louise Hay, she really gives you tools to implement into your daily life to help you access yourself more fully and wholly, where you're actually able to love yourself more. I always say to my clients, as a life coach, I can't teach you how to love yourself, but I can show you what you're not. So by removing various layers of what we're not, we come closer to who we truly are. And when we do that, we can only love ourselves, because what we truly are is only love, and it's beautiful. So as a Louise Hay life coach, I really just help people implement and manage tools to make and live the best version of their highest potential for this lifetime. Then if we look at the Munai Ki, it's the Munai Ki rites, which was passed down in 2012 by the Inca in Peru. They'd been studying the Munai Ki rites and initiations for many, many years and have transmitted it for many years, but it was only really given to the Western world in 2012. The Munai Ki rites is really about becoming more the Humo Luminous, which is the light body version of ourselves in this lifetime. And with the initiation and transmission, we really have lineage rites that are transmitted to us that give us access to higher consciousness within ourselves. It's almost like placing a seed in somebody's body as like a Bluetooth that goes off into the entire universe. And when your Bluetooth is switched on, everything that is linked to it is able to see and access it, and thereby assist and access you.
Then if there's anything else you want to add in about what you have to offer, different things that you could help people with.
Sure. So the other things I do is I do tarot reading, and I do mediumship crossing over, where I connect to loved ones in spirit. Or if I do tarot reading, I really just connect to your angels and guides to give guidance as to where you're at and where to from now. As a teacher and mentor as well, I teach channeling courses that normally run once a month for 6 months. The next one will start in January 2019. And it's really just allowing the people to access what they already have, but don't know how to go about it or what it is they're actually looking for. So it's really, really helpful when we're living from our intuitive side, and we can connect to everything that's supporting us in the unseen. So I teach channeling, I also do the Munai Ki rites and transmissions, anything really that's got to do with becoming a better version of ourselves, spiritually as well as psychologically and emotionally. My biggest passion is really just empowering people to be their true authentic selves in this lifetime.
I'm keen for you to share your credentials, because a lot of people think that this type of thing is very airy-fairy, and it has no real substance to it. But your credentials is approved. So why don't you share your certified credentials with us?
So as far as the Heal Your life coaching goes, I am Commensa approved, which is really just a governing body, which psychology also falls under. And then we're also CETA approved, which just means that we're able to go to various corporates and do life coaching and workshop facilitation in corporates. That is, then the corporates are able to claim back tax from CETA as tax registered bodies of CETA. And then as well, for the shamanic aspects, as I said, I've been studying it for many, many years, and shamanism, not really a modality that you receive a certificate for. It's just really a universal thing, but have been doing it continuously and still am for numerous years.
Great. And then please could you tell us how people can get hold of you, your social media pages, where you're based?
I have a website called raisingconsciousness.life, which really gives you a broader overview of what I do and who I am. And then I have a Facebook group. It's a closed spiritual group. It's called Raising Consciousness as Collective Souls. So if anybody would like to join the group, it's really a safe place for people who are spiritually inclined. I also have my private Facebook page called Shannan Knox, and it's Shannan with 2 A's.
Yes, of course. And then everybody could also go to our website, which is www.bodyandmind.co.za. Also our blog, which is bodyandmindblog.co.za. We are also available in your app store, both iPhone and Android, and you can download the Body and Mind Health Directory app, and all our conversations, members, is available on the app, and links to their website and contact details will be available. So please also don't forget to subscribe to the Skype interview, to the Body and Mind Skype channel, and share it with people that you think may get a benefit out of these conversations that we're having with amazing, extraordinary people. Thank you for sharing with us, Shannan. It was really lovely chatting to you.
Thank you, Antoinette, for the opportunity and for the time spent with you too.
Yes, it's lovely to chat to you again.